Once upon a time, in the heart of a bustling American city, there were two men who lived worlds apart, yet whose paths would eventually intertwine in the most extraordinary way. On one side of the city was Elon Musk, a name synonymous with innovation, wealth, and vision. A billionaire, tech mogul, and founder of companies that reshaped the future of transportation, energy, and space exploration. He seemed to have it all: the money, the fame, the power to make anything happen. His journey had been paved by genius and determination, and the world watched in awe as he propelled humanity toward a future that once seemed unimaginable. But across town, in a humble corner of the same city, there lived a man who had nothing but dreams, ambition, and a relentless spirit. His name was Raj, a street vendor who sold his homemade snacks from a small cart. Raj had no fancy education, no powerful connections, and certainly no financial backing. What he had was a belief that one day, he would rise above the poverty that bound him and create a life of significance. He worked long hours under the scorching sun, trying to make a living and dreaming of a day when his hard work would pay off in ways he couldn't yet imagine. At first glance, it seemed there was no common ground between the two men. One was a symbol of success in the eyes of the world, the other an invisible figure, lost in the noise of everyday life. Yet both shared something that could not be measured in money or status. An unyielding drive to change their circumstances, to shape their destinies, and to leave a legacy that would outlast their years. Raj's life was filled with hardship. The weight of each day rested on his tired shoulders, but it never crushed his spirit. He watched the world around him and thought, why not me? Why can't I have a life that means something, just like them? His story was not one of instant gratification, but of grit and persistence. Every day, he woke up before the sun, preparing his cart, carrying it to the busiest streets where he could make a sale, sometimes just enough to scrape by. But there was something more in him, something that could not be extinguished by poverty. On the other hand, Elon Musk's journey had been one of privilege and intellect, yet it was not free of challenges. From a young age, he'd faced rejection, failure, and doubt. The same determination that fueled his rise was also born from a deep well of insecurity and the desire to prove to himself, and the world, that he could create something truly groundbreaking. He wasn't born with the certainty of success. He battled against the odds, against the notion that some things were just too big, too complicated, too impossible. And so, the story of Raj, the street vendor, began on a humble note, but his journey would soon intertwine with Musk's, in a way that no one could have predicted. It would be a story of two men, from completely different walks of life, whose destinies would collide in a moment that would change both of their lives forever. The beginning of their paths was rooted in struggle, but it was their willingness to embrace hardship and their relentless pursuit of betterment that made their journeys truly remarkable. At this point, you might wonder, what could possibly connect a billionaire and a street vendor? How could two such different men find common ground in a world so divided by wealth and circumstance? The answer lies in the unspoken truth that connects us all: the human desire to dream, to fight, and to rise above the circumstances that confine us. One rainy afternoon, a shift occurred, something unexpected, something that would alter the course of both Raj and Elon Musk's lives in ways they could never have foreseen. Raj had always believed that success came from the courage to take risks. But it wasn't until a fateful encounter that he understood what it truly meant to seize opportunity in the most unlikely of moments. It was a gray Thursday, and the streets were wet from the morning drizzle. As usual, Raj pushed his cart to the busiest corner in the city, setting up his stand with the same diligence that had driven him for years. His small cart, laden with steaming hot snacks, sat beside the main road where people hurried past, ignoring him in their rush to get to their destinations. But today was different. As he laid out his goods, a sleek black car rolled up to the curb. The sound of the engine revving interrupted the otherwise quiet scene, and the car came to a slow stop. Raj looked up, momentarily puzzled. The car's tinted windows rolled down, revealing a man in his early 50s with sharp, confident features, none other than Elon Musk, the titan of industry himself. It was a surprising sight. Raj, a man who'd only heard stories of Musk's achievements from the passing strangers who spoke of him in awe, had never imagined crossing paths with him. Musk was in the city for a brief visit, having just wrapped up a meeting with investors. He'd been driven to this part of town by chance. He hadn't meant to stop, nor had he ever taken a moment to truly pay attention to the people living in the margins of society. But something caught his eye. It was Raj's cart, sitting on that busy street corner, smelling of warmth and tradition, a symbol of simple yet profound persistence. "How much for one of those?" Elon asked, his voice low but genuine. Raj was taken aback. He had never imagined someone of Musk's stature paying attention to his humble cart. After a brief moment of hesitation, Raj managed to respond, $5 for a pack of 3. Musk raised an eyebrow, impressed by the simplicity of it. "I'll take a pack. And a coffee, too, if you have it." As Raj prepared the snack, he watched Elon closely. He had no idea why the billionaire had stopped, and even less about what was running through his mind. But what struck him most was the ease with which Elon interacted with him. There was no hint of superiority, no air of condescension. Just a man who, despite his immense success, could still relate to the humdrum of ordinary life. In that brief exchange, Raj saw something he hadn't realized before. Musk, despite his billions, was not entirely different from him. Both were just men trying to make something of themselves in a world that often overlooked the small guy. "Tell me," Musk said as he took a bite of the snack, savoring its flavor, "what made you choose this life? This street vending?" Raj paused, sensing a deep curiosity in the question. He wiped his hands on his apron and thought for a moment. "I was born into nothing, sir, but I believe that if you keep at something long enough, no matter how small it seems, it will eventually lead you somewhere. I'm not here because I want to be, but because I have to be. But I still dream. Every day, I dream." Musk looked at him, the words sinking in. There was something about Raj's raw honesty, his unfiltered view of the world, that resonated with him in that moment. It wasn't the first time he had been moved by the resilience of people like Raj, the ones who fought for survival with the most basic of tools: hard work, determination, and an undying belief in a better tomorrow. Elon took another bite of the snack. "You know," he began slowly, "it's not too different from what I went through when I started. I didn't have billions of dollars or any kind of safety net. But I had a vision, and I kept pushing, even when everyone else told me I was crazy. It's funny. Sometimes I think success is less about what you have, and more about what you're willing to risk." Raj looked up, his eyes wide. There was something in Elon's words that struck him, a truth he had never fully embraced. It wasn't just about surviving or even succeeding in a conventional sense. It was about daring to dream bigger, even when the world around you tells you it's impossible. It was about reaching for something more, something beyond what anyone thought you were capable of. Elon finished his snack and looked Raj in the eye. "What if I told you that you could make more of this than you ever dreamed? What if I told you that there are opportunities for people like you, in places like this, to rise and make a difference?" Raj's heart skipped a beat. Was this just another empty promise? Or was this man truly offering him a chance at something greater? "Tell me what you mean," Raj said, barely believing his own words. Musk leaned in slightly, his voice taking on a tone of conviction. It starts with one idea. One spark. And then, it's about persistence, the willingness to keep going even when the odds are stacked against you. Look, I've been where you are, in some ways. I've started with nothing. But I didn't let that stop me. And I'm telling you, you don't have to either. Raj listened intently, the weight of Elon's words settling over him. In that moment, he realized that what he was hearing wasn't just a conversation, it was a lifeline. A chance, an opportunity, something bigger than his daily struggle. Perhaps, just perhaps, he could build something out of his dreams. Something that could turn his humble cart into a symbol of hope for others like him, struggling in the margins. I'll help you, Musk continued. But you've got to be willing to step out of your comfort zone. You've got to be willing to risk it all for something greater. Raj felt the fire within him burn brighter. Was this the moment he'd been waiting for? Was this the opportunity that could take him from the streets to something unimaginable? It was no longer about just selling snacks. It was about something deeper. It was about believing that change was possible, no matter how small or grand the dream. And maybe, just maybe, Raj was ready to take that first step. The next few months were nothing short of transformative for Raj. What began as a simple conversation with Elon Musk on a rainy afternoon had sparked a chain of events that would reshape his life in ways he could hardly imagine. Musk had not only offered Raj advice, but had also provided him with an invaluable resource, a glimpse into a world that was once reserved only for the powerful, the elite, and the extraordinary. But now, it seemed, that world was within his grasp, too. Raj took Elon's words to heart. He realized that success wasn't just about having money or fame. It was about having the courage to take risks, the vision to see beyond what others saw, and the persistence to push through failure after failure. Musk had started with nothing, just an idea, a dream, and the belief that if he worked hard enough, the world would come to him. Now, it was Raj's turn to build something of his own. The first step was simple but daunting. Raj knew he had to leave his familiar, albeit humble, life behind. He still worked his street cart every day, but now he was also spending hours at night studying business, technology, and innovation. He devoured books and articles, watched videos, and listened to podcasts about entrepreneurship. Elon's words echoed in his mind every time he struggled to stay focused. One idea, one spark. But Raj wasn't just trying to build a business, he was trying to change his mindset. He learned that the road to success wasn't linear. There would be setbacks. There would be failures. And that was okay. What mattered was that Raj kept moving forward, kept learning, and kept improving. His first major step was upgrading his street cart. It wasn't just about selling snacks anymore. It was about creating an experience. Raj wanted his customers to feel like they were a part of something bigger. He started offering not just food, but a variety of local beverages, exotic flavors, and even a selection of handmade crafts. He designed a new logo for his cart and marketed it as Raj's Corner of Wonders. The goal was to make his cart stand out, to make it memorable, and to turn his humble operation into something that could compete with the larger, more established businesses. But transformation wasn't easy. Many of his longtime customers were skeptical. They didn't understand why the prices had gone up or why Raj was suddenly so focused on branding. They were used to the simple, affordable snacks he had sold for years. Some even criticized him for changing something that had been part of the neighborhood for so long. Raj took the criticism in stride, remembering Elon's advice, "You have to be willing to risk it all for something greater." With each passing week, Raj refined his business, learning from both his successes and his mistakes. He poured every bit of his energy into growing his brand, expanding his menu, and creating a loyal customer base. Slowly but surely, his business began to pick up. Word spread about the quality of his snacks, and more people came to see what the fuss was about. Raj's Corner of Wonders became a staple in the community, and even some of the wealthier locals began visiting. It wasn't long before Raj realized that his small cart, which had once been a symbol of his struggle, had now become a symbol of his transformation. But even as his business flourished, Raj never lost sight of what mattered most: the people. He took every opportunity to give back to the community, offering free meals to the homeless, donating part of his earnings to local charities, and even helping other small vendors who were just starting out. Raj understood, as Musk did, that true success wasn't just about what you gained for yourself, it was about the difference you made in the lives of others. One day, Raj received a call that changed everything. It was Elon Musk again. This time, he wasn't just offering advice, he was offering a partnership. Musk had heard about Raj's success and wanted to invest in his business, bringing his vision of sustainable street food to a global scale. Musk believed that Raj's brand had the potential to revolutionize the street food industry, combining quality, sustainability, and community-focused values in a way that no one else had done before. Raj couldn't believe it. The man who had once been a distant figure, a billionaire who seemed light years away from his reality, was now offering him the opportunity of a lifetime. This was it. The moment Raj had been waiting for. But even as excitement filled his heart, a new question lingered in his mind: was he ready? He'd worked so hard to get to this point, but now he had to make a choice. This wasn't just about growing his business, it was about changing everything. It was about stepping into a world of corporate partnerships, investment meetings, and global expansion. Was he still the same street vendor who'd started with nothing, or was he now something different? Raj thought back to the words Musk had shared with him that rainy day: "It's not too different from what I went through when I started. I didn't have billions of dollars or any kind of safety net. But I had a vision, and I kept pushing, even when everyone else told me I was crazy." Those words rang true now more than ever. This was Raj's chance to not only change his life, but to change the lives of others who, like him, had started with nothing but a dream. He took a deep breath and made his decision. He would partner with Elon Musk. But he wouldn't forget where he came from. He would continue to build not just a business, but a movement that proved that anyone, no matter how small or insignificant they seemed, could rise to greatness if they had the courage to dream, the perseverance to fight, and the heart to give back. As Raj signed the partnership agreement with Musk, he realized that this was no longer just his journey. It was the journey of every person who had ever struggled, who had ever dared to dream beyond their circumstances. It was a journey of resilience, of risk, of rising above adversity. And in that moment, Raj knew that the road he had traveled from street vendor to global entrepreneur was a testament to the power of the human spirit, the spark of change, and the extraordinary potential within each of us. The partnership between Raj and Elon Musk marked the beginning of an entirely new chapter, one that stretched far beyond the streets Raj had once known. With Musk's influence, Raj's Corner of Wonders was not only expanding locally but began making waves internationally. As their collaboration deepened, the vision of what Raj had built grew into something that transcended business. It was no longer just about food, it was about innovation, sustainability, and changing the way people viewed street vendors and small businesses. Together, they worked on new ideas to integrate eco-friendly packaging, locally sourced ingredients, and technology-driven food experiences that attracted media attention, investors, and curious customers from all over the world. Raj's life had transformed. His street cart, once a modest symbol of his struggle, had become a franchise, a beacon of hope for other entrepreneurs who had nothing but dreams and a relentless desire to improve. But as his success grew, so did the complexities of his new life. Raj found himself pulled in many directions, caught between the reality of his humble beginnings and the demands of the business world he had never truly known. Musk, with all his wealth and influence, pushed him to think bigger, to push further. It was a world of fast decisions, high stakes, and constant pressure. And in those moments, Raj sometimes found himself questioning if he was losing touch with the very thing that had made him who he was. Through the chaos, Raj tried to stay grounded. He continued to visit the streets where he started, connecting with the people who had once been his customers, reminding himself of his roots. He held on to the belief that success wasn't about the numbers on a bank statement or the size of a business empire, it was about making an impact. But as his visibility grew, so did the scrutiny. The media began to question if a man from such humble origins could really hold his own in the high-stakes world of global business, and there were whispers that he was in over his head. Doubts started to creep into Raj's mind. Was he really equipped for this life? Or was he just a pawn in a much larger game? As Raj navigated this complex new world, he received an unexpected invitation, a mysterious meeting that would bring his journey to an entirely new crossroads. The invitation was sent in an unmarked envelope, the contents of which were as cryptic as they were intriguing. It was an invitation to a global summit for influential entrepreneurs, thinkers, and innovators, the kind of event where the world's most powerful people gathered to discuss the future of technology, business, and society. Raj had always thought that a person like him, who had started with nothing, would never be invited to such a prestigious gathering. But now, here it was, an opportunity for him to step even further into the world of the elite. However, there was one catch: the invitation came with a warning. It wasn't just a conference, it was a challenge. The letter hinted at a groundbreaking opportunity that could launch Raj's business into a realm of unimaginable success. But it also carried with it an unspeakable risk, a gamble that, if lost, could undo everything he had worked for. The sender was someone Raj had never heard of, a powerful figure in the business world whose motives were as unclear as the future itself. Elon, as always, offered his support, but he couldn't mask the uncertainty in his voice when he spoke of the summit. "It's an incredible opportunity, Raj. But it's also a dangerous one. You've built something extraordinary, but you have to decide whether you want to continue down this path. It's not just about the business anymore. This is about your legacy." Raj sat at his desk that night, the letter in his hand, his mind racing with possibilities. He could feel the weight of the decision bearing down on him. For so long, he had dreamed of this kind of success, of changing the world in ways that would inspire others. But now, he wondered if the very thing that had made him successful, his willingness to risk everything, was about to be tested in a way that might change everything he believed in. The future was uncertain. The summit could be the opportunity of a lifetime, the breakthrough that pushed Raj into the global spotlight. Or it could be a trap, a decision that would pull him deeper into a world he didn't fully understand, a world where the stakes were higher than ever. Was he ready to leave behind the streets that had shaped him? Was he prepared to risk everything he had fought for? Raj stood at the crossroads, the weight of the world on his shoulders. And as he looked out the window at the city he had once called home, he realized that no matter the path he chose, one thing was certain: his journey was far from over. In that moment, a thought flashed through his mind: could the true test of success be found not in the heights we reach, but in the courage it takes to walk into the unknown? He took a deep breath, knowing that the answer wasn't clear, that his journey wasn't finished, and that the true story of Raj, the street vendor turned entrepreneur, had yet to unfold. As Raj stepped out into the night, the city lights twinkling like 1,000 possibilities, the question lingered in his heart: what would tomorrow bring? And in the distance, as the future seemed to beckon him, a single thought stood out above the rest: not everything is as it seems.